Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Five Hole Fantasy Hockey Podcast. We're your hosts today, TJ and Alan. What's up, buddy?
Dude, whatever you got going on in Philly, you guys need doctors.
Yeah.
Because it's not just you. My wife was just in Philly for a book tour and brought back like just all manner of pestilence with her.
I don't know.
You guys need doctors, witch doctors, something.
We need something. I have no idea what it is. So, hey, it's Monday, and we're doing the week preview late. So Thursday, so Thursday we went out for a nice family dinner. We did the whole thing. Monday and Wednesday, my daughter was held out from school. She was puking. The weekend prior, my niece was puking. And then Thursday, Friday, my son was home from school with a fever. Thursday, Friday, and then so Thursday night, I fell asleep. I didn't wake up till Saturday morning. It just straight through. And my son's been home from school. He got sent home today. I don't know. Should I out him? It was kind of a funny story. Anyway. Yeah, so it's been, a whirlwind. We do need witch doctors or something, but better late than never, I guess, for the Week 18 preview. Mostly what I wanted to accomplish with this episode was the trades. We've got a couple games under our belts with these trades, and I wanted to get it out there, how we're taking it. There's some big injuries too, man, like Barzal, Marchenko, that we're going to get to. But before that, you guys can find us on Twitter at FHF Hockey. We got the Fantasy Hockey Discord for you to hang out in. And we're doing this live on YouTube. So if you want to chime in the chat or, just throw us a sub, that'd be great. Let's get into the Week 18 preview, man. Let's do some storylines. What do you say? You want to take that one away, Al?
Yeah, I guess we're going to start with injuries, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just
big ones.
Terrible blow to the Blue Jackets with the season they're having this year. But Kirill Marchenko on IR after suffering a broken jaw in Sunday night's game against Dallas. Now, it was fun watching this evolve throughout the day, which is why it's so detailed compared to the others. So he had surgery today, and the surgery involved like metal plates and screws into his jaw, which I guess is the best case scenario because they're saying with this, he's looking at a little as a month. But if they had just wired his jaw shut, it would have been 6 to 8 weeks.
Did you hear about what happened in JVR just the other day? Like 30 stitches, and then they realized they left a piece of his tooth in. Yeah. So they had to take the stitches out, and then he laced up for the next game. It's just, and then Werenski got banged up in that same game. Boone Jenner is going to be after the Four Nations. Monahan is going to be mid to late March. Goodbranson mid to late March. Chinnikov, no timetable. Marchenko, we got that month with the busted up jaw. Fabro, and then luckily Werenski looks like he's going to be a-okay. Man, they are beat to shit. What do you think? They have been surprisingly offensive. Do you think this has taking away their top scorer? Maybe the best storyline out of
it sounds
Columbus
like Ken Johnson moved up to that top line, which we know he has the pedigree. He's a very high draft pick. But I guess doing it on paper is different than actually doing it like Marchenko's done all season. We'll see. There's a buddy of mine showing me, I think Tampa and Columbus at one point had the same number of goals for, but it was just because Columbus has like no defense and subpar goaltending, like their goal differential is just like even.
They were, for the longest time, I remember writing those Eastern Edge articles that, they were top 3, top 5 in goals for, but they were also bottom 3 in goals allowed. So it's like no defense whatsoever and also no goaltending. But,
if they can't win games 6-5, they're not winning games.
Oh, man. That's it. Good luck, Columbus. What do we got next?
Scott Wedgwood, day-to-day with an upper body injury. Only reason that's worth mentioning is Colorado has a back-to-back later in the week. Trent Miner is the call-up. Do what you will with that. If you believe that their goaltending is just above individual talent.
Yeah. I don't know. Blackwood's on a run. So let him.
Josh Norris will be out a few weeks with as I found it later on, with a mid-body injury, not upper or lower, mid-body, which
sounds like a wiener.
Terrible. Man. So it looks like Stu, top line center, Ridley Grieg is that 2C now. It's just terrible, man. This kid just can't stay healthy.
Yeah, lots to But at least this time it wasn't a shoulder, right? So like something different.
And then Matthew Barzal, as we mentioned earlier, he's out indefinitely with a lower body injury. I think he got that one in the game versus Tampa, but I didn't see what happened. But yeah, no, he didn't suit up versus Florida with the next game. So I don't know. I'm not interested in whoever the next man up there is.
Yeah. I mean, Barzal was barely treading water is relevant. Any Islander. I mean, him and Anders Lee were the best, but brutal.
And then last one, Marner and OEL are questionable for tomorrow's game. Berube also hinted Stolars is very close. So I wonder if that's a hint that there's some chance he starts tomorrow. And then returns. Linus Hallmark activated from IR. Marilinen sent down to the minors. I was kind of disappointed in that. I thought he played good enough to stay up there, but
that's got to be like he's got to be two-way, right? So if Forsberg would have went on waivers, somebody might have claimed, and then
that was the rumor. Right? It sounded like Carolina was interested in him earlier in the year, so they're like, Marilinen's waivers exempt. Just send him down.
Yeah, buddy. All right, let's get into the fun stuff. Some of the trades. I mean, it's no Luka Doncic or anything, but Miller Hedl. Hedl scored a goal last night, and JT Miller, he's fitting in just fine. But it's my Trocheck stocks that I'm worried about. He's off power play 1. He's off, maybe not line 1, but how they got a top 6 and they take turns being actual line 1 by time on ice or whatever. But he's away from Panarin at like every step of the way, and that has not been great. So what's your take there? I mean, face-off leagues, and he's doing a little bit of banging, so he's not a terrible own, but this has got to really tank his.
I know. I feel like the ceiling just got a lot lower, but you still got the floor, like you said, the face-offs, the periffs. But damn, I didn't realize they took him off power play 1 too, because they got Kreider up there. Ew, I thought that was that Miller would bump off, and they just keep Tro up there.
Yeah, they were favoring Lafreniere over Kreider for a long time, but now, with Miller coming back, I don't know if, how coaches are with handedness and stuff, and maybe I don't have everybody's handedness memorized, so maybe there's something like that with JT Miller that it just, I don't know. Kreider is a net front guy, and JT Miller to me fits the mold of somebody that's net front. Do you think maybe they're redundant after? But so does Trocheck, right?
I was going to say I thought Trocheck would be the net front guy, because wasn't that the season he cleaned up in Florida when he was their net front guy? On their power play. I
wonder if there's just a redundancy there. I don't know. It's got to be one of those two things, but you really got to hope. Like Kreider's stat line has just been super weird this year. It's like 15 goals, 2 assists.
Well, I was going to say he just got, I think, like a third assist over the weekend or something. Yeah.
God, who gets more? Okay, here's a fun little thing. Who has more quantity by the end of it? Quinn Hughes hits or Chris Kreider assists?
I gotta say Chris Kreider assists. Like it just the team's been waking up lately, even before the Miller trade. I just think there's no way his injury is that severe. They're still icing him, and he's just this shitty.
What is fun is Zibanejad's on the wing. So I wonder if he hasn't already. Is
no
he getting,
wing eligibility?
No wing. He did get it, or he's
I haven't. I'm just assuming. I don't know how many games, if Yahoo does it at all.
I wonder. Well, I mean, they did it with what's his name? Malkin. Like 2 games in, he played 2 games. They gave him left wing, and that was it. So hopefully Zibanejad can get it now. He's been there a couple games. I'm sure people are filling the inbox over at Yahoo. Go ahead and send some emails, guys, because that's got to happen pretty soon. That could be fun. And Zibanejad looks rejuvenated at the same time too. He's kind of come back to form a little bit. So what do you think? Are we seeing Zib come back?
I think he was again, that whole team, but yeah, Zib was starting to wake up even before the trade happened. I wonder if just that better line mates is what's helping him.
All right, next one, kind of a snoozer. Marcus Pettersson, Drew O'Connor, Danton Heinen, Vincent Desharnais. Just Vancouver making more moves. Nothing really. Like Heinen was a Penguin before, right?
Bruin. Who's a Bruin?
I swear he
could have been a Penguin. We'd have to look it up, but I think Heinen's the only somewhat fantasy relevant piece there.
Yeah, that's got to be a super deep league too, right? All right, I'm looking it up because I'm fairly certain I'm going crazy now. Was he ever? Yeah, he was Pittsburgh 21-22. All right. All right. And then Boston too. So just a lot of like yellow and black for a while. Yeah, I don't think there's a ton here.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. What did they neither of them broke 13 minutes time on ice. So yeah. Okay. So my Flyers, they made
I was about
a
to say, this
trade.
is the one I feel like you're the most knowledgeable about.
Yeah. I mean, Frost and Farabee, they call him Beezer here in Philly. Calgary just does this all the time where, Beezer's got the better even strength deployment, but he's playing on power play too. But then you got Frost in the bottom six right now, but getting power play one. I feel like they've done this a couple times this year where, we have to have this conversation. I think it was like Coronado or Zari or, somebody in Zari where, you get less even strength time, but better power play deployment. So I don't know. I like Farabee better as a player. I think there's more there. Frost, right now he's playing with Sharangovich and Pospisil. They're both getting power play time. Backlund and Pospisil, I think, lost power play time entirely. And Sharangovich moved down to power play 2 with Frost on power play 1, Farabee on power play 2. So a couple guys, I mean, this one ripples through the whole lineup. I guess what I want to say in terms of like what I've seen from them here in Philly, when you move out of a Torts system, I feel like you're going to find your ceiling, so there's going to be a lot of untapped potential, untapped value, untapped everything with these guys that they're going to be able to show now. And, they're going to be able to run with, and I'm sure they're going to have fun with the chains being off out in Calgary. So good for them. I don't know how much there is in what we've gotten. Kuzmenko, Jacob Pelletier.
Sounds like they're still working through visa issues, so they might play sometime this week.
There's got to be like a tariff or some stupid bullshit.
That's a terrific answer.
Oh my God. Well, all right. Kuzmenko and Torts apparently not going to get along too well, but that's going to be fine because a lot of the rumors are that they want him to play with Mishkov, who's already on the fucking fourth line and playing fuck all for minutes. So he'll wind up on the fourth line with fuck all for minutes, but hanging out with fucking Mishkov. So I hate this for Kuzmenko and Pelletier. They didn't have a ton of value to begin with. Now they're moving to a less offensive team and kind of just a more annoying team to own anybody from in fantasy. But for Farabee and Frost, this actually, gives us as fantasy podcasters 2 extra guys to talk about when Calgary has good weeks, because I like them. I think Farabee and Frost should be top your list when it comes to, a Calgary game that you have room for. And, I'd probably put them right up there with like a Zari or even a, who's that guy? Blake Coleman. I think, they could, I mean, Farabee especially, he bangs. So him and Blake Coleman are going to get along pretty well. Yeah, I like it for them. What do you think? You got any takes on those guys?
No, it's hard to even say, like, what do we expect as a floor from Kuzmenko and Pelletier? Because they were probably borderline streamers in most leagues anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So going to a team where their deployment changes shift to shift. Yeah, there's just the Calgary pieces are the more relevant.
Absolutely. Big time. I mean, they're, number one, they're better players just on paper and everything. And they're going to a better system. So great for fantasy for those 2 guys. Now, Mikael Granlund, I think with Mason Marchment coming back, they've done some more to their lines. So he started out on line 3 as the center, but now line 2 with Matt Duchene. What do you think about Mikael Granlund in Dallas? And I mean, to a lesser extent, Cody Ceci in Dallas.
Yeah, that's where I thought he'd be, is that second line with Duchene and Marchment, because that was Sagan's spot. Biggest thing I noticed, 1640 in that first game. It was 3rd among Dallas forwards, but that's like a 3 to 4 minute drop from what he was getting in San Jose. And now it's power play 2, which you still got a couple guys that can do something on it, but you're not getting... This is the perfect example of what we say when sometimes you don't get too excited about guys that trade to playoff contenders, is exactly this.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is. Like teams that are buying at the deadline are bolstering the back halves of their lineup. Save for New York, who made a huge splash, and I guess we are outnumbered this year with Nietzsche and Rantanen and all that, like big moves, right? But for the most part, like when you're dealing with rentals and things like this, Mikael Granlund kind of fits that mold, especially. I want to check his power play time because, power play 2 sounds bad on paper, but they kind of split their power plays.
Right.
Yeah, he was 8th in terms of 7th in terms of forwards, 8th on the team, but 151 played about as much as Jamie Benn. So, Jamie Benn's kind of neighborhood, I guess. And the top outs were Jason Robertson, Wyatt Johnson, and they had like 30 more seconds of power play time. So it is kind of like a 50-50 split. Thomas Harley with fucking 4 minutes of power play time on ice in that game.
Loving that pickup.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one for anyone that had Heiskanen go down and hopped on Harley. Saad signs with Vegas.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about it. How fantasy relevant is that going to be?
Yeah,
but you never know where he'll be on that lineup.
That must have been pretty recent, right? Like
oh yeah, he went on waivers to terminate his contract with the Blues, and then it might have not even been 24 hours. It was like, hey, there's like this fast list of teams. Vegas is on it. Signs with Vegas.
Man. Yeah, I'd love to see where right now they've got him on line 3. It looks like so, about as relevant as he was.
Yeah.
That top 6, with the exception of Keegan Colasar, I feel like it looks like they're trying to split things up because they've got Mark Stone on that line too with Brandon Saad. So interesting wrinkle out of Vegas. Yeah. I wonder if they're going to start rolling those lines.
Yeah, I don't see him cracking top power play, but yeah, I mean that top 9 or whatever could totally move around.
I feel like if Saad was relevant to you, before, he's going to be relevant to you now. So yeah. There you go. All right, let's move into the schedule. Let me throw this up on the screen. How do I do it? This one? Which one was it? Not this one.
Nope.
I'll get it. I'll work on it, guys. All right. There we go. So we've got the game grid loaded up from 5hole.com, and I've got it sorted by the best teams. This is a shit week for streaming. Only 47 games all day. Last week was so much heavier and just so much more flexibility too, because look at that Tuesday, look at that Saturday. We're rolling into the 4 Nations break. It's, next week is nothing. So they're really getting their money's worth out of these teams. Tuesday and Saturday, I'm almost tempted just to take those days out. And the New York Rangers still wind up at the top because they have that Wednesday, Friday off night back to back. So do LA and Edmonton. Are there any teams that you find more appealing than the others?
I don't know. It's not so much the 4-game teams. Some of those 3-game, 2 off night teams like New York are actually pretty good. I mean, you missed the boat on Nashville tonight, whatever. But I mean, Chicago, very streamer friendly. Edmonton, you got a couple pieces. Even LA, yeah. I'd say like a lot of those 3-game, 2 off night teams will help you avoid some of those busy nights.
I want to see if Olmark's going to play in this one. Did he get confirmed or anything like that? He's not starting.
Forsberg tonight. Yeah. So which means Olmark will play in Tampa tomorrow.
Oh, no. I'm an Olmark owner. I would have much rather Nashville. Big fuck. All right. Yeah. Even the game grid, it runs kind of on its own algorithm. It favors off nights. It favors games played first of all, then off nights, then opponents. And right now it's got the New York Rangers ahead of teams like Tampa, Montreal, both of who have 4 games. Montreal with 4 games, 2 off nights too. So it really likes this New York Rangers team who has turned around their offense, and they're playing Boston, Pittsburgh, and Columbus. So I
think it's those Pittsburgh and Columbus games that are really weighing it.
Well, let's see, because chances of you being able to pick up a New York Ranger who was on the waiver wire and change your Saturday lineup for that. If you get rid of Saturday, they drop down to 3rd, and that's where Edmonton kind of leaps out because they're playing Chicago. So that's a big one. Problem with Edmonton is there's nothing there. So let's get into some of these these streamers and some of these teams that we prefer. Or should we do back-to-backs? How do you want to rock it?
We can fly through the back-to-backs real quick here.
So right there, you got Ottawa. We kind of missed the boat, like you said, on Forsberg for tonight. But Olmark, if he was dropped and kind of slept on, go for him for tomorrow. Tampa, Alan, that's your team, man.
I was like, that could go either way.
Could go either way.
Apparently, we're terrible against the Atlantic this year. So,
oh man. Well, I did pick up Claude Giroux, so I'm hoping that not only tonight does he do something for me, but also tomorrow. Try eligible too, so a lot of flexibility there with him. Back-to-back wise, like if you can get your hands on either one of those guys, I probably not, because Hallmark is going to be the guy for tomorrow. So I don't know. I don't think there's anything there. Anything Tuesday, Wednesday that sticks out to you?
You know what? I like Montreal if they start Dobis against San Jose.
Yeah,
Dude's just been insane.
Even LA. They've been really low scoring, so I wonder if they're the better team. I'm not trying to say anything that they, Montreal could win it, or I'm guaranteeing a win, nothing like that. It's just, I think the chances of a low event, high shot volume kind of game that you can get from a Dobesh, maybe, even if he's playing LA. I don't know. Montebo, what's his ownership? Is he somebody who's kind of out there available? Well,
good
Dobesh
question.
is 20%, so obviously he's the one that easy to pick up. Montebo is 65, so he's worth checking. But I don't mind either of those games, to be honest with you. The San Jose one, like you said, obviously way better. St. Louis.
Yeah, they don't play themselves. Who do they play?
Okay, so we're looking at what, Tuesday, Wednesday?
I think it's Edmonton.
Yeah. So that's they got Edmonton on Tuesday night, and then where are they?
See, Edmonton plays St. Louis.
Oh, right. Okay.
I still have it wrong.
And then Edmonton plays Chicago. So actually, I do like this one, because St. Louis is like such an enigma when it comes to. I was watching that Utah game the other night, where Utah was really struggling to get pucks on, and Benner let a soft one in, and then eventually St. Louis goes on to win it. But like they can really drop a game against a good team. They can drop a game against a bad team. So I don't mind even like Pickard, if you can get him against either one of these opponents. Chances are it's going to be Chicago, but I'd be a fan of riding him. Boston, that's a scary one with Minnesota and the New York Rangers.
Yeah, that could really go either way.
Pass. Wednesday, Thursday, we got no back-to-back, so we're looking at Thursday, Friday, and that's where Colorado comes in solo. And that is where our guy, Trent Miner's coming in. What do you think about him versus Calgary with Frost and Farabee, or Edmonton?
I definitely don't want Edmonton.
I would bet they're saving Blackwood for Edmonton.
Yeah. So not a great start, but I mean, if you're hard up for spot starts, I'd say that's, well, probably not on a Thursday. You'd probably want the spot start on a Friday. So yeah, maybe not. Maybe that's a pass.
With the sheer volume of back-to-backs that are Friday, Saturday, like you can really find something. New York's got one, Dallas has got one, LA, Chicago, Nashville, and Pittsburgh. Alan, I'm not going to take too much away from you and Jay. We're gonna leave this one to you guys to dive through, but I think there's a couple that are really worth targeting. Like, go for a DeSmith here.
Yeah, I mean that'd be Saturday
that
against San Jose, but
yeah,
it'd be a quality start.
There you go. All right, that's where we're gonna get into it. Looking at the 4-week forecast, if you're looking to drop anybody, if you're looking to pick up anybody of the teams that are looking pretty bleak going into the 4-week, into the 4 nations via the 4-week forecast here. Buffalo way below average. So these are the average amount of games played that a team has over the next 4 weeks. And they're about 2 games below average. They also are a game and a half below the average amount of off nights. And their opponents actually pretty good. But Buffalo just not giving you a lot. So that's a good time to get rid of those Paterkas, get rid of those, just fringe guys. I think I would keep Dahlin, Thompson, Tuck, UPL.
Maybe
I don't know
Zucker.
Maybe Zucker. If your league is deep enough, there's a couple guys in our Discord who are rocking like 23-man rosters. he might be worth it there. Flyers, Seattle, and Florida also at the bottom. Your top teams, LA with 5 off nights over the next 4 weeks. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but considering like a week and a half to 2 weeks of that is the 4 nations, it's actually pretty good. Rangers are looking pretty good. Nashville, Dallas, and Pittsburgh. If you want to check out the 4-week forecast, go check out the game grid on, oh my God, this is on my local host. I was like, I didn't change this. Yeah, I'm running the development site right here. All right. Let's get into some of these actual streamers, man. Montreal, they're looking pretty good for this week. What do you like out of Montreal?
I'm surprised. Actually, you know what? I would say just go check on Laine Slavkovsky. Laine, 57%. I believe that. Slavkovsky, I feel like should be much more highly owned, especially since he's starting to come to life now. He's back on that top line. Especially in categories leagues or leagues that give you weighted bangs. I mean, Kirby Doc, there really isn't much to stream from here. He's probably the only guy with any sort of steady deployment, line 2, power play 2. But if you want the high risk, high rewards, I feel like Jake Evans, Josh Anderson, Brendan Gallagher, all like single digit ownership. Those are like your high risk, potentially high reward plays.
Yeah, I think in leagues where like you have 4 pickups, like most normal leagues, maybe stay away from that unless you're a risk taker, like Alan's saying. But you know, Slavkovsky, Laine, you're bang on. If they're out there, they should be on your roster, because those are 2 guys that I would love to hold throughout this week. That might be like our only. Yeah, that's our.
You're
that might
looking
be
at
the
like
best team out there.
New Hook, or you're not getting access to the real good stuff there.
Yeah, the New York Rangers, I guess, would fall. Maybe in like a tier 2 of these streams.
Yeah.
But the problem with the Rangers,
Will Cooley, I feel like it's just the usual suspects there.
Yeah. I do feel like there's been a little bit of I'm in one league where blocks are kind of juiced. So a guy like Keandre Miller kind of comes out of the woodwork, and you know, there's certain guys that have a little bit of value for this kind of thing. But I think with just all the the buzz around JT Miller and all the offense that's coming around, there's just not a lot that's getting shared. Lafreniere, people are dropping him just because he's kind of on his way out. Hopefully everybody's okay. But yeah, like losing power play 1 and power play 2's or line 2 is kind of on an island right now with Vinny Tro and Laugh here. But Will Cooley, power play 2. He's banging a shit ton, like 3.5 hits a game over the last 30 days. Great
like
time on ice too.
Riley Smith, good for the occasional goal. That's more like deep league.
Oh, great time on ice. That's Lafreniere. Sorry. Will Cooley's at like 14, almost 15 minutes. But if I'm looking at blocks, I think that's one place that you could go. Like Braden Schneider's worth a look. Ryan Lindgren, freshly signed Will Borgen, Keandre Miller's throwing a bunch of bangs around there. Yeah, just kind of your riff guys. But yeah, I don't see a ton for offense here. And I think that's where these tier 2 teams that we like really start to like open up for offense. Ottawa, Tampa, and Utah. So why don't you take us through some of those teams here?
Yeah, again, Ottawa, pretty shallow. I mean, like we mentioned earlier, you got Ridley Greig, line 2 center, now that Norris is out for a few weeks. And I don't know, this one kind of surprised me. David Perron, I know when he first came back, I mentioned it to Jay. He's kind of like a career power play merchant guy, but they got him on power play 2. So that's a guy I would watch to see if he makes movement toward that top power play. Otherwise, line 2, power play 2, I'm not really interested. Artem Zub and Travis Hamonic if you need some riffs.
I'm going to throw Giroux out there. I picked him up for this week. I also think, he's been a Flyer for so long. You've been a Tampa Bay fan for so long. Claude knows how to score on Tampa. I don't know what it is. I feel like those Philly Tampa games from 5 years ago, they were like 7-8 all the time. I just got this weird feeling about Giroux against Tampa, and they've got 2 games against Tampa, 1 against Florida. And I don't know. I feel like Giroux really excels, or at least did in his heyday.
67% owned though. You're probably not going to find him.
I found him. So just go check.
Yeah.
Go check. But yeah, other than that, Drake Batherson, great pickup. Brady Kachuk, great pick. No, yeah. But if
those guys are
Giroux's out there,
absolutely available.
yeah, go check and see if he's out there, because I do think Giroux, try eligible, line one, power play one this week. It does feel like cheating because he is 67%. But let's move into your team here, the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, there's a few guys here. I would say just go check on Anthony Cirelli. He's 47% owned, but he's the most likely in that top 5 to actually be available. Nick Paul, just another guy that gives you cat coverage, and sometimes they'll throw him anywhere in the lineup. He just literally, it's in his name. He does it all. But someone I pumped on another show, and I still think it's worth exploring here, talking about. So Tampa has kind of done something funky with their power plays. It's, I guess, a 1A, 1B, however you want to describe it. Yeah, Taylor Radish, defenseman, 14%.
Darren, right?
Darren?
Yeah. Where the hell's Taylor? Because I know there is.
Taylor is the Capitals. There we go. So right. Darren Radish of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Yeah, he's the one on the unit with Cooch, Point, Gensel, and he's playing top pairing with Hedman, and he does provide his own shots. Like, I'd say, at least while they're doing this experiment, he's absolutely someone worth looking at, especially this week on where your heavy days are just heavy. I feel like defensemen, you might have a easier time slotting those guys in.
That was something I was going to bring up is, Anthony Cirelli hands it away the best option, I think, but 3 of their games until Sunday. This feels like, Anthony Cirelli kind of feels like a weekend pickup, right? Like Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 14 games, 9 games, 14 games. Having a center only is like, if you got the room for it, absolutely make that. But I feel like this one's really going to fit in for you guys on the weekend preview. And Darren Radish, man, I'm right there with you. He's given me like Brant Clark, fucking Adam Boquist, like low risk, some reward kind of vibes. Get yourself a power play defenseman. So send it. I'm all there for it. Utah, man, like there's such fun names, and I want to get your take on this. Did you see those the
logos?
Logos, yeah. Do you got?
I do like if they stick with Hockey Club. I love it for the logo, how they have the Yeti kind of in the mountains, like in the mountains with the, I don't know if that's negative space, but just, the Yeti shape is visible there in the mountains. I like that one.
The mammoth looks pretty cool. The Utah, it reminds me of like a beehive wearing a hat. So I don't know if I'm sold on the Outlaws.
I feel like most of the reactions to the Outlaws was, hey, didn't they just lift that logo from Chell? Like,
yeah, I see that. But the mammoth looks pretty cool. It just gives me like Predators vibes because it has the tusks, right? So I feel like they almost have to go with the Hockey Club at this point. And some guys in the Discord brought up a great idea, or a great point, is like, why wouldn't they change the name so that they can sell twice as many jerseys, right? Like everybody that's already got a Utah HC jersey is either going to have to go out and buy an Outlaws jersey or a Mammoth jersey. So capitalism, maybe they don't go HC, but man, I'm all for the HC. Let's talk about their streamers though. Who are you?
Again, we gotta honk the tires, honk the horn for Nick Schmaltz, man. He's doing the good Nick Schmaltz things.
Yeah,
10 points in the last 10 games.
He's doing it. It's February, February. This is when Schmaltz starts schmaltzing.
And I mean, and now while they got Cooley and Dilly Guns is coming back soon, but while they still have some of those guys out, I mean, they got shallow pretty quick. Barrett Hayton, I like him. He's the poster child for a streamer. He's shooting at a good clip, but and that goal scoring kind of dried up a little bit. But I mean, there was that little stretch. He was like, what was it, like 3 games? He had like 6 points and 4 of them were goals. Like that is perfect idea behind a streamer there.
I'm with you on Schmaltz, and I feel like even when Dilly Guns comes back, like Alexander Kerfoot's probably the one bouncing. My worry would be his power play deployment. Like, do you think Schmaltz's power play is safe when Guns gets back?
Ooh, that's a good question. And again, I don't know which position they play on the power play, so it could be something it bumps someone else because of handedness or where they play. But
you know who had a good game the other night was Michael Kesselring. That game I was watching.
Yes.
He had like fucking 14 shot attempts or some shit. Like he was firing, and he was the one that potted the goal. Back to Schmaltz in the power play. I think maybe Doan is the one that bounces when Guns comes back. So hopefully Schmaltz is safe, because I do think he's not going to go super Schmaltz, but he might go semi Schmaltz. We'll see. A couple other teams to check out that fall in our tier 3 teams to stream: Chicago and Nashville. I mean, we're missing one of those Nashville games tonight, in terms of like a week-long ad, if that's something you're going for. But Chicago, they've got Edmonton, Nashville, and St. Louis. I'm drawing a blank. Like, I'm still not 100% getting over. My brain is still lagging,
right? With Chicago might be a little better because you do avoid the Tuesday, Thursday off nights. And then maybe that's where you drop someone for one of your Sunday games or something.
Yeah. And then who was it? Nashville for the other one. I don't mind it. Like, they, their schedule really stuck out when it was when they had tonight. But right now you're looking at a spot start for Friday. They've just got one of those off nights that we're looking for. And what's interesting about Nashville is they've started to mix up their lines a little bit, which kind of bring guys into the forefront when it comes to relevance. Right now it's Nyquist, Stamkos, and Marchessault. So Nyquist kind of comes back as he's somebody we always talk about with Nashville. So here he is again. But yeah, he's on the top line with Stamkos and Marchessault. Hinostroza with Forsberg and O'Reilly. So I don't know. Hinostroza, I've heard his name before.
Oh yeah, Arizona days.
Yeah, and I think he played for Chicago at a point too. I can't remember. I think he was a Flyer.
That sounds right. I feel like he went somewhere in the Metro for a minute.
Yeah, it might have been like him and back in those Brandon Manning days. But yeah, I don't know. I guess Nyquist would kind of lead the way. What do you think? Anybody?
Yeah,
first in Chicago, but then also in Nashville.
Yeah, in Chicago, I feel like it's Tyler Bertuzzi or bust. If you need some riffs, Foligno and Alec Martinez is finally back.
Yeah.
But yeah,
actually,
Nashville,
you know what? Bang Daddy Murph too.
He's that's right. He did come back. Nashville, yeah. Ryan O'Reilly, 39% owned, especially if you're in friggin' face-off leagues. You still got power play 1. That's worth something. I'm not sold on Brady Shea. I don't know why he suddenly surged in ownership, but Bang Daddy Luke Shen, I feel like is just solid source of periffs. And again, defensemen, you'll probably have an easier time slotting those guys in over forwards.
On the heavy nights. All right, man. I'm not going to cheat and take Claude Giroux as my streamer of the week, even though I was able to get him in a very competitive league. But I want to know what your take is in terms of like who you would pick. And it's not going to be fair for me to chirp you because you're filling in right now. But yeah, who would be like your lead pick?
Oh, dang it. And I feel like Schmaltz is a cop out too.
Well, 36, I'd accept it.
36, I'll go Nick Schmaltz. I cannot pick him up in spots, but I feel like he's still doing the good Nick Schmaltz.
I'll go with your boy Radish. I think there's going to be some value to be had there. And they both play identical schedules, so it's not like we're, in terms of days, it's not like any one of us are kind of like stacking the cards one way or another. But I feel like if Laine's out there, Slav is out there, Giroux is out there, those have got to be like tier 1 streams this week.
Yeah, I mean, those are probably even longish term holds. We're coming up on the end of the season.
Yes, sir. All right, that's going to be it. So the next episode is you guys on coming up this
Wednesday
weekend.
Night.
We got the mailbag for Wednesday night. So throw something in our Twitter. We got the Thursday mailbag channel in the Discord as well. If you guys want to just have a question ready, throw it in, as long as it's not like time sensitive, because those ones that are like, oh my God, I have a trade in my inbox right now, probably not best suited for like a 2-day wait on a mailbag episode. But if you got something that could wait, throw it in there. And follow us on Twitter. Check us out on the YouTube. We're here. We're hanging. Hold on. I'm trying to fill time while I get the background music. Hold on. I ran out of like actual things to say. So now I'm just, okay. There it is. All right. So that's going to be it for us tonight. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for, right now we're up to 73 people in the live stream. So thanks to you guys for hanging out, hopping in the chat, and we'll chat you next time.
Yeah. Night, everyone. See you next time.
Later on, guys. Love yous.